Today, I've got the full FPV experience with the DJI Neo. Let's see if I can go between this little gap here where I'm sitting, down here. Hey, I did it. Let's see if I can do a roll. So I'm going to be testing it out with the Goggles 3 and the RC Motion 3. That's going to be my first test flight right now. And then I'm going to transition across to the full acro mode with the DJI FPV Remote Controller 3 and the DJI Neo. I've been practicing in the Uncrashed simulator for a little while now, and it's my time to shine. It's my time to fly full FPV with the DJI Neo. Can't wait to see how this performs. This could be a really good option for a lot of people out there who want to start out in the FPV world. It gives you so much control, so much versatility. As you would have seen in my other videos, this guy can do pretty much everything. You can control it with your phone, you can control it with the controller, which is the RC-N3, you can control it with the RC Motion 3, you can control it with, all sorts of things. So really cool stuff. And there's also a voice controlling option, which I haven't been able to test just yet. There'll be a standalone video on the channel. So today is just the pure FPV experience with the Neo. So all you have to do is power on the 3 devices. I've updated all the firmware, it's ready to go now. So all I have to do is double press this button here. That will prime the motors. We will start recording as well. So motors are primed, ready to go. And then I press and hold this button again, and it will launch into its position, ready to go straight away. It's got an interesting angle on it right now. Let's see how this goes. Oh yeah. So this is just in the normal mode. I'll chuck it into sports mode very soon. It's a little bit windy today, but I'll keep it nice and low, so it should be fine in this kind of scenario. It does exactly what I would expect. It's handling it really well. Keeping it low to the ground, as you can see. We'll just increase in altitude a little bit. And I do love the RC Motion 3. It's such a fun experience. You can see it doesn't have as much power in this N mode. It's struggling when I'm up in the air a little bit, so I'll bring it down and we'll chuck it into sports mode now. So now straight into sports mode. Still maybe not going as fast as I thought it would be going. We're getting about 5 meters per second. There we go. I must be going against the wind the other way. So there we go. That's that cool FPV look that you want, nice and low to the ground. The whizzing around. Yeah, it's doing a pretty good job so far. So I've just put it into 4K 30 frames per second. It was automatically in 1080p. That last clip would have been 1080p. I've got the Rocksteady electronic image stabilization enabled. And then for whatever reason, right now at the time of me doing this test, I've just got the head tracking option. That means that I can do this. I can look around with that head tracking mode. So that's really cool, but the Easy Acro does not seem to be available straight off the bat for whatever reason. That might come out after the official release. It might bring that out, because I know that the voice controls won't be available until the release, so maybe the Easy Acro won't be available until then. We do have the head tracking though, as you can see, so I can look around, look all sorts of directions. I do have the share live view to mobile device, and there's also the Goggles defog, but yeah, nothing here for the Easy Acro just yet, but I know that it will be available on the Neo. Yeah, we'll fly a little bit more with this one, and then we're gonna go across to the other controller. So it seems pretty reliable. It's a little slower than maybe I thought it would be. Maybe that's where the full acro mode's going to give us a bit more juice when I go across to the FPV controller. It's so disorientating having the head tracking on, to be honest with you. But it is a lot of fun to be able to do this. So this is pretty controlled. I wouldn't trust going too high above the tree line, just to make sure that I could get the drone back. You can see I'm in sports mode, but we're getting about, what, 5 meters per second, sometimes 6, sometimes 7. It seems like it's a nice casual experience, but this would be good for a beginner just to get used to the... So I got to about 6.6 meters per second there. It's a very casual experience. There we go, 8 meters per second. So do keep that in mind. With the RC Motion 3, it does seem to be a bit more of a casual experience. You've got to keep in mind, I'm low to the ground here. So imagine if I was above the tree line, imagine if it was windy, it might struggle a little bit here. It doesn't give me that fully immersive FPV, like whipping around experience where you're going really fast. Oh, the color just changed significantly there. But yeah, still the same kind of concept that we got with the Avata 2. The Avata 2 was so much fun to use with the RC Motion 3, but overall, pretty decent. You can see it's going really slow now. For whatever reason, I've literally got my finger like fully locked down on the trigger and it's struggling a little bit to come back to me. So do keep that in mind. So let's bring this one back, see how we go with the landing. The RC Motion though, it's a very intuitive flight experience. Gonna bring it down, press and hold that, and it lands nice and easily. So yeah, I don't know what I was really expecting. It was great, very intuitive as you would expect from the RC Motion 3. It was a little bit slower than maybe I expected. I'm keen to see how it goes with the full FPV experience, but still a fun experience. And if this is targeted for the beginner market, which I think it might be, then this is a great introduction to the FPV world. You get something that has all sorts of control options and you can just get it as a standalone, just the Fly More kit, for example, with the controller, with the drone, with the batteries, and then you're in the ecosystem then. So then you could get yourself the motion, you could get yourself the goggles, you could go across and get yourself the controller once you're prepared. So that's where this is really exciting. Like, this is a fun way to introduce yourself to the FPV world. And then once you practice a little bit on a simulator, you could then progress into the full macro mode. Not macro, manual mode. If you're based in Australia, I do have an awesome discount code that you guys can use. Use the code DANSTube over on the DJI Australia website, which is d1store.com.au. Use the code DANSTube to save on most drones, cameras, and accessories over there. An awesome saving for my audience. And on top of that, for my international viewers, I will have some other links down below to check out all of these products, accessories, all these things that I'm testing out here. The RC Motion 3, the Goggles 3, the FPV Remote Controller 3, the DJI Neo, all that good stuff will be linked down below. So if you are interested in the DJI Neo, maybe you've pre-ordered it or you've got yourself one already, then make sure to join my two groups below. I've got the DJI Neo owners worldwide and the DJI Neo owners Australia. So definitely check them out. I will have some events, giveaways, all sorts of fun stuff going on in those groups. Make sure to join them. They will be linked below. So here's the moment of truth now. It was actually really easy to just connect across to this controller. It immediately synced across. So it is a simple process. It just works straight away. And what I'm going to do here is there's the toggle on top here. So as I toggle it right down to manual mode, that's where it's going to be fully in FPV manual mode. To start off, I'm just going to put it into the normal mode, go into sports mode, and then once I've got used to a bit of this controller action, then I'm going to go into the manual mode and we're going to see how this whole thing performs. Okay, so this is just in the normal mode right now. You wouldn't expect anything too crazy here. And I'm just going to chuck it straight into sports mode. Feeling pretty comfortable with that already. This does feel quite natural. I do love this controller actually. It's an awesome controller. Okay, so this seems to be doing a great job. It does give you a little bit of that banking effect, even though I'm just in sports mode. So it's still hovering. Straight when I let go of the controller, it's still going to hover for me. So you can ease into it, right? Like you can play around with the simulator. I've been using Uncrashed. You could then, come to the controller and just start playing around in sports mode because you don't have to worry about any sort of crashes or issues here, because straight when you let go of the controller, it just hovers like you would be used to from other DJI drones on the market. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go into the manual mode and see how that goes. So you actually have to go into your settings to enable the manual mode. So you just pull across, go down to settings, go to control, go to remote controller, and then you go all the way down to custom mode, enable manual mode. So now that's enabled, and then you want to go across to gain and expo, and then you want to disable M mode attitude limit. Mastering manual right before. Yep. So they're giving you a warning basically. So I've been practicing now for hours in a simulator. So hopefully I'm going to be all right. So I've disabled that. And then in button customization, we've enabled manual mode in the custom mode. So now it's fully into manual mode. I believe I can just launch it and then change across. So let's just launch the drone. Got a fair bit of wind. Really got to fight that wind. Okay, so we are going to go into manual mode now. So it wants me to put it in the midpoint. Ooh, look at me, flying manual. Look at me, flying manual. Oh my goodness. Not doing the best job, but I'm doing it. Ooh, I'm doing it. Flying manual. Look at this. Very, very cool. So as you can see, I'm really not pushing it too much. I don't have too much battery life as well, so I have to bring it back. But this is in full manual mode. You can see in the bottom left, it says M. I'm doing a pretty good job. I've definitely put hours into the simulator. Still not feeling overly confident. But I can see I can pick up the speed. I think I got to 10 meters per second just then. So I'm still just kind of controlling it nice and calmly. It's just crazy that I'm actually flying manual, really. I think I'm going to bring it back. So all I have to do is just change it into sports mode and it's just going to hover again. So that's kind of your fail safe, which is very handy here. And you've also got the emergency brake as well if you need that. But we're just going to bring it back, swap out the battery, and then try again. Pretty impressed with how quickly I adjusted over to the manual mode here. I'm going to launch it again now that I've got a full battery, and I'm just going to do a few laps around, see if I can pick up the pace a little bit and try to improve some of those manual maneuvers. So this is in the sports mode, as you know. So let's put it into manual mode again. So you can see you've got to pull the sticks down to a neutral position, and then it goes straight into manual mode. There we go, look at me go. Yeah, wow. This little drone handles really well. This is a cool way to learn FPV, especially because you've got the propeller guards on it. There I am there. Seems to be very responsive to my inputs. So you can see I can go over the top here. I feel pretty comfortable with this. This is great. That's nearly full stick on the throttle. Went up to like 10 meters per second there. Does a good job though. It just like holds its position in the sky. Very responsive to all these little inputs I'm putting it through. Just try to maybe go behind here and then come back around. Oh, bounced off the ground. Oh, windy boy. Oh, impact detected. And I just put it into sports mode there. It definitely gets knocked around by the wind, and it is quite windy today. High wind velocity warning. Considering we're in a sheltered area, so you have to keep that in mind. This is definitely something you want to practice in a park or something like this in an open field. But overall, it did a very good job of handling what just happened there. It bounced off the ground, I chucked it straight into sports mode, and it seemed to somehow maintain itself. Quite impressive. All right, back into manual mode again. So it gives me the little warning, and then we're in full manual mode. Whew, it's quite loud. Makes a bit of a racket. But I feel pretty comfortable. I know I'm not doing anything too crazy here, but you got to keep in mind, this is my first time going from the simulator to flying in manual mode. And it is quite windy, and I'm flying a very small drone here. It'd be a different story if it was the Avata 2, which I will test out on the channel very soon, actually. Going around the little tracks here that have only just been mowed. Yeah, this is fun. This is awesome. I think for a lot of people, like if you've never flown FPV, this drone's going to give you so many options, so many different things to learn and practice. I think this is going to be great for a lot of people. Let's see if I can go between this little gap here where I'm sitting. Let's see if I can do some fun little acro maneuvers. Just down here. Hey, I did it. Let's see if I can do a roll. Oh, I'm obsessed with this little drone. That was so cool. It literally like rolled, and I was way too low to the ground. I didn't like thrust up, but it like bounced off the ground, tried to quickly turn it into sports mode, and it just sat there. No damage to it, perfectly fine. I love it. It's got the propeller guards to protect it. It's got a great little design, and like especially where I am here, the grass is quite soft and bouncy, so a perfect opportunity to really test it in the manual mode. I'm gonna push it one more time, see if I can do a few little barrel rolls, maybe try to do a little flip. We'll just see how I go. But it's really easy to pick up. Yes, I've spent hours in the simulator learning, but the fact that you can progress up, right? You can go from like a normal controller, the RC N3, you then go to the RC Motion 3, get used to that kind of FPV experience, and then go across to the main FPV experience. It's so cool that we have that much customization, that many options available to us with the Neo. I was thinking, put it in manual mode and just go between these trees and see how I can go a little bit more of a delicate movement. So let's see how we go here. Straight into manual mode. Oh, this is cool. How sweet is this? It's actually cool to see that I'm relatively comfortable to do this. Okay, bounce off the ground and we're still going. Okay. Down this path here, got a few trees here. Come on, keep going. Oh, that's so cool. Love that so much. There's a lot of wind. A lot of wind. I thought I was going to be more sheltered here. But you can definitely tell the drone does get blown with the wind. So keep that in mind. It is a particularly windy day. But again, I'm in a sheltered area. You'd think it wouldn't be an issue. Let's try to go between this little gap. Whoa, terrible. I kind of psyched myself out there, didn't I? Around the pole. Chuck it straight into sports mode. And let's just bring it back for this final little flight here. Just in the manual mode, see what I can do. There I am there. This is so cool. I'm not doing the best job, but the fact that I'm able to kind of control it to some extent, move around these trees, this is still pretty cool. Let's try to go around and come back. Nice. Hey, that was sweet. Cool, there we go. It's as simple as that. Okay, there we go. All right, last attempt in manual mode. So you can see just in sports mode, it's a lot easier for me to navigate between these trees purely because it's just keeping that altitude locked for me. So I can get between these little gaps confidently. But let's just try one more loop around in manual mode, see what I can do. Okay, here we go. Manual mode. Okay, it's pretty good, pretty good. Yep. Oh, that was some good maneuvering. Look at me go. Seem to do that a lot where I just bounce off the ground. Okay, we've got between a gap here. We got the gap. Oh, I feel like the more I do this, the better I'm going to get, hey? Like, I'm just picking it up pretty quickly. I know it's not the best flight in the world, but for such a tight little area, definitely feeling like it translates nicely from the uncrashed simulator over to this. I feel like I can pretty confidently try a few things. There we go. If you, your friend, your partner, your parents, whoever it may be, wants to get into flying a drone but is terrified, maybe they've just got themselves a drone and they don't know how to fly it, I do have a drone course designed for beginners to go from a novice to a pro. I will help you become a fearless drone pilot. There's everything you need in that course. It will guide you through the whole experience. Well worth checking out or gifting to a friend, partner, or loved one. fearlessdrone.academy. Using that code DansTube will save some money over there, so well worth checking it out. So there we go, guys. That's the full FPV experience with the DJI Neo. It is so much fun. The fact that I can go into full manual mode or I can use the motion controller is such a blast, and I know a lot of people are going to be very excited about this. So thank you so much for watching, everyone. I appreciate all of your support. Let me know if you want any other Neo content on the channel anytime soon. I might revisit the manual mode, practice a bit more, and then try to do a really, really cool video where I actually try to do rolls and flips and all sorts of things. Anyway, I attempted a few little barrel rolls. They both didn't go too well, but we're out here and we made it happen. No damage to the drone, as you can see. It's completely fine, which is phenomenal considering that last one like dive bombed. Really cool drone. I'm obsessed with this. There's so many options available to you. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. I appreciate all the support. I'll chat to you in the next one. Peace.